Hey guys, it's Cannibal here. First off, I just want to say thank you for almost 200 subscribers and all the support on the past few videos. I also want to thank you guys for everything that you've been doing and for sharing my content. In this video, I recorded it with a new microphone, so I hope the audio quality is better. Well, with that out of the way, let's get scared. The sun was dancing on the horizon, shadows lengthening, and the light beginning to fade. Inside the pure white room, only a table and two steel chairs furnished it, stood a girl no older than 16 in a shirt and pants, the same hue as the room. She stood, still as a statue, in front of the window, watching as the sun slowly slipped behind the trees, with glassy eyes half glazed over with thought. Her dark waist, long chocolate brown hair, was rolled up into a tight bun at the nape of her neck. A blank expression on her delicate china doll face. A man, dressed in a suit of various shades of gray, half moon glass, and hair like bleached snow, entered the tiny room with its two-way mirror and steel-reinforced windows, carrying a thick manifold folder, walked over to the table and took a seat in the cold chair with his back to the two-way mirror. The door closed at that point, thudding closed with a click, the sound ensuring that the heavy bolt was locked in place. The man riffled through the folder, pulling out a heavy stack of papers with a tiny handwriting and a yellow stento notepad. Retrieving a silver fountain pen from his smoky gray shirt's breast pocket, while the man in gray flipped through the file, occasionally stopping to read a paragraph or to write on his yellow notepad. The girl just stood there, gazing out the wire-reinforced window with unblinking eyes. She watched the few children play outside on the grounds, or lies not far away, and watching with narrow, sharp eyes. In the 7 years she had spent there, she had never been allowed outside onto the grounds to play like all the other children. She had never been allowed near anyone other than the muscle-bound ordials and nurses and doctors. In the years she had been there, kept a prisoner in a white world. Once a month, the warders would enter her room before nightfall and restrain her to the bed, despite her fruitless attempts to fight them off. The man in gray stopped flipping through the file and as many papers and looked up at the young girl, staring expectantly. He seemed a bit nervous at the way he adjusted the collar of his shirt, the straightening of his perfectly centered storm gray tie. "Megan," he finally said hoarsely. Before he continued on, he cleared his throat, hard with some difficulty. "If you could sit down, please." The last words he said were not but a silent whisper. When Megan didn't respond, he pushed on more firmly, if still soft, with more conviction. "Megan, if you do not cooperate, I will have to ask the order." Before he could finish, Megan spun on her heel and walked over to the chair across from the man, took a seat with the wolfish grace. She didn't look up at him, though, only kept staring with a blank face and eyes at the brushed steel table, as expressionless as at the window. Nothing her compliance on the yellow notepad, old man spoke once again. "Megan, I've been trying to get compliments from the nurses assigned to you that you're fighting them when you try to give them your medication. I prescribed it to you for a reason. It's needed for your condition. Why have you been fighting the treatments?" Megan muttered something unintelligible under her breath, but didn't look up as she said it. "I beg your pardon?" "It's not medicine," she yelled, looking up swiftly. her eyes a color bluer than ice, and burning with the rage of 1,000 burning suns. Her pale blue orbs held a fire that burned with a previous unknown rage that seemed to scorch the very air before them, and her voice, a primal growl, escaped her bow-shaped lips that was too far animalistic for any human to make. The doctor yelped in fear, leaning back in his chair. Cautiously, his body froze with the unspeakable terror that made his knees quiver like jello and his heart beat so quickly and loud that he feared the men outside the door may hear it. Megan screamed at him. She scared everyone at Demented Hills. The doctor opened his mouth to speak, but Megan cut him off. I know what it is. It's chloroformine. It doesn't make me any better. It just makes me sleepy and miserable. And no matter how much they give it to me, I never get better. Megan's eyes were fire. The doctor knew what she could do and fumbled for words that would calm her, that she would soothe her. But he never even got the chance. Megan stood sharply, sending the solid steel chair flying to crumple against the wall like it was putty. She reached across the table, grabbing the doctor by his tie, picked him up over his head like a rag doll with bull's horns on it. With an amazing feat of strength, she threw the doctor at the heavy door, blasting it off its hinges as he hit it. Orders swarmed in through the gaping doorway, some carrying full needles of some reddish liquid, others with silvery plated batons that were sharply at one point. Everyone saw not a cowering girl in a corner, or a heavily breathing, or a raunchy teen girl. What they saw was a furry brown tail disappear out the smashed window, with shouts from the doctor, such as, "Get her! And don't let her get away, you fools!" Sometime after Megan could no longer hear the shouts and screaming of the alarms, she stopped just on the edge of a moonlit meadow where a small group of deer lay resting. Her stomach growled with hunger, and her mouth watered like it was Niagara Falls. She was different. She could barely control the storm that raged inside of her when she turned into that monster. She finally decided she would go to London. She just had to hold in her humanity until she found them. She would seek out her parents and make them pay for her living there. Feeling her skin split and her fur begin to flow across her tiny frame, she ran off into the woods, chasing the wind and racing the sun to the horizon. A single wolf howled that night, and Megan shivered in her head at the acknowledgement that no wolf came near that place, and she screamed again. Only the haunting call of the